All right, Paul, let's talk about the great controversy of where our eyes should be. So the first funny thing, once again, conversations with thousands of good golfers. I ask them, where are your eyes? And most of them will say over the ball. And then I'm asked them the question, how do I know? And I think the most accurate answer has been, I drop the ball from the bridge of my nose. All right, which you got to chuckle at after 100 years. So it doesn't matter if you've got lasers on your glasses, a mirror on the ground, whatever, nothing in the world is as accurate as this. So there are two main positions you can be in, and the most common is eyes over the ball. So we have a white string, and you can move these strings up and down, make them closer, once again working on your backswing, and then we have a blue string. So you have to cover the blue string. When you stand up, let's say you're 5 feet tall, you cover the blue string. That is accurate to millimeters, literally to less than a millimeter in accuracy. So that is for eyes over the ball. So if you believe your eyes should be on the inside of the ball, right, we move the strings to this inside slot here, and now when I cover the blue string, I am directly to micromillimeters on the inside of the ball. Now, one thing we didn't talk about is we can fiddle around with the height of these strings if we want to work on our backswing, our follow through, right? If you are teaching someone and you're like, hey, you got to keep it low, and we want to work on an ascending, right? An ascending stroke, we can set this little constraint here, say, hey, let's touch this, or let's touch this here. However you want to set this up, there's just with the strings alone, there's 20 ways you can play with them.
Yep. So this would be what I always say is that our putting stroke is like an airplane taking off, not an airplane landing. So I could use the string here to make sure that we get the visual of that airplane taking off.
So if you are an eyes over the inside guy, one of the drawbacks, why don't you put the putter down here? If you want to make sure you are setting up your putter in the middle of the ball, you cannot do that with the eyes on the inside. So what we would do, you can take that away and you can throw that in that one. So I would add, personally, a second set of strings over the middle. And if you've got eyes over the middle of the ball, you obviously don't need to do this because you're going to have those strings, and push that blue one down. All right, and there we go. So what we're going to do, and once again, you don't have to do this. Maybe you just do this every now and then. Get the putter down here. So now we can align our eyes over the inside, but we can just also, before we start out, tilt our head, and we want that putter to the white to cover the blue to cover the line on the putter. Almost every putter has a line on it. So once again, it has amazed me the amount of people who address the ball like this. And I'm like, your putter isn't in the middle of the ball. Well, sure it is. Like, no. Or like we talked about before, open or closed face. Right, so these strings, and I would say most of the people that I have seen that are eyes on the inside, they just put all 4 strings on there and it doesn't bother them. Because they like to line up the putter in the middle, and they like to line this up. So I'm just gonna make sure this is correct. So it would be basically like that from what I can tell from my vantage point. And then we would just shift our eyes here if we want to be on the inside of the ball.